Wake up. Check your phone. Scroll for a few minutes before you even get out of bed. Today, doing nothing is easy. Comfort is just a few steps away. But 10,000 years ago, laziness simply wasn't an option. Resting too long could mean death. So why exactly was nobody lazy back then? To understand that, imagine a world stripped of every convenience we take for granted. No stores, no refrigerators, no safety net. Every single day was a fight for survival. If you didn't move, you didn't eat. Hunting wasn't a hobby, it was the only way to live. A missed hunt meant an empty stomach, sometimes for days. Gathering food was just as demanding. Roots had to be dug from the ground, berries found before animals took them first. Nuts had to be cracked open by hand, one by one, day after day. There was no pantry stocked with food waiting at home. Every meal had to be earned, hour by hour. Even children helped, gathering firewood and carrying water. They watched over younger siblings while adults worked. Elders stayed active too, teaching skills and preparing tools. Nobody was excused from contributing, regardless of age. A group's survival depended on every single member pulling their weight. If one person slacked off, the whole group suffered. There was no concept of my job separate from my life. Waking up and working weren't two different things, they were the same thing. The moment you opened your eyes, your body was already in motion. Shelter had to be built, and it had to be rebuilt often, no matter the weather. Storms destroyed huts in a single night. Wild animals damaged camps while people slept. Fire had to be kept alive constantly because starting one from scratch took real effort and time. Someone always had to tend it, day and night, without fail, or the group froze. Clothing was made from animal skins, and preparing those skins was brutal physical work. Scraping, stretching, drying, it could take days for a single hide to become usable. There was no time to sit idle, because idle hands meant an unfinished task. And unfinished tasks could mean the difference between life and death. Then came the seasons, and with them urgency. Summer meant fast, intense gathering before the cold arrived. Animals had to be tracked and hunted while they were plentiful. Plants had to be harvested at exactly the right moment, not a day too soon or too late. Wait too long, and the food would spoil or disappear entirely. Winter meant survival on nothing but what had already been stored away. If not enough had been gathered, the whole group could starve together. There was no later. Often later didn't come. Every action had to happen precisely when nature allowed it. This constant urgency shaped the human body itself. Our ancestors were built for movement, not stillness. Strong legs for walking miles every single day. Sharp eyes for spotting danger or dinner in the distance. Endurance for chasing prey across open land for hours at a time. A body that rested too much simply couldn't keep up. Laziness wasn't a personality trait back then, it was a threat to survival. Even sleep wasn't fully restful. Predators lurked in the dark, so someone always had to stay alert. Groups took turns keeping watch through the night. Rest existed, but it was earned, and it was shared. When farming slowly emerged, the pressure didn't disappear, it multiplied several times over. Now timing mattered more than it ever had before.
Seeds had to be planted at the exact right moment, down to the week. Too early, and frost killed the crop before it even sprouted. Too late, and there wasn't enough time to grow before winter returned. Fields had to be watered, weeded, and protected from animals every single day without exception. A single missed week could mean a failed harvest. And a failed harvest could mean starvation for an entire village. Farmers worked from the earliest light of morning until the sun disappeared completely. There were no weekends, no holidays, no days off. The work simply had to be done because nature didn't wait for anyone. Even social structure reinforced this constant effort, whether people realized it or not. Communities were small, and everyone knew exactly who contributed and who didn't. There was nowhere to hide and no way to disappear into anonymity like we can today. A lazy person risked being cast out, and in the wild, isolation almost always meant death. Cooperation wasn't a nice idea, it was a survival strategy, tested every single day. Sharing food, sharing labor, sharing risk kept everyone alive when times got hard. So laziness didn't just hurt the individual, it endangered the entire group around them. Compare that to today. We can order food, work, and entertain ourselves without ever leaving the couch. We can survive an entire day without any physical effort at all. Our ancestors' world simply doesn't exist anymore in the way it once did. Comfort replaced necessity. Convenience replaced constant labor. But our bodies, and in some ways our minds, still carry the blueprint of that ancient world. We were built to move, to react, to contribute, not to sit still for hours on end. 10,000 years ago, laziness wasn't a choice people could afford to make. Survival demanded action, every hour, every single day, without exception. Nobody rested for long, because resting too long simply meant not surviving at all. It's a strange thought that the very thing we now chase, endless rest, was once the fastest way to disappear. And that single truth shaped humanity long before comfort ever entered the picture.